Hello there, internet dwellers. Welcome back to another video. Today we have a very unique video. This was a channel that I found thanks to Inside a Mind. Inside a Mind is a fantastic YouTube channel that dives into ARGs and other kind of horrors and a handful of other things, and you should definitely go check them out. They're the reason I got into Happy Meat Farms, basically, and the reason I'm so into that. They seem to have found a very, very unique and unspoken, not much spoken about ARG and video series called Project Earth. Now, I've done multiple intros on this, and I can't really explain it that well. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to try and explain it as we go along, rather than just give you the whole spiel right now. Basically, the long and short of it is multiverse goes wrong. That is the whole gist of this. There's 4 videos here, and there's a whole website that we can look at after this. So without further ado, we're just going to jump into this. Guys, be sure to go subscribe to Barry. From what I've seen already of the website and the videos, it's really, really well done. A lot of production value has gone into this. We're going to jump into this with the first episode, Project Earth 0, Waffles or Pancakes. Let's jump into this.
For the past couple of years, the word multiverse
Scientist.
has been appearing more and more.
You know he's a scientist because he's wearing a white lab coat, guys. I won't pause, I'm sorry.
That is no accident. Here at Terra Nova Industries, we've worked with some of the greatest minds the world has ever seen to uncover something that was once considered impossible. Yes, the multiverse exists. But what is the multiverse, you may ask? Well, imagine a simple straight line that continues moving along. This represents your life. You wake up one morning and decide whether to have waffles or pancakes for breakfast. You eventually go for waffles. By making that decision, our main line continues moving along, but a completely new one can be seen branching off. Because you made that choice on what to eat, you unknowingly created a whole new reality where you decided to have pancakes instead of waffles.
It's crazy to think about, isn't it? This guy, think about it, this guy got to eat pancakes and waffles in the same shoe.
This version of you that had the pancakes will go on to make other choices in life. The more choices they make, the more possibilities are created for you in your existence.
Damn, that's crazy.
Join us today as we premiere our brand new show, Project Earth, where we meet Greg Sellers, an ordinary, average, boring man, and explore how different his life could have been had things panned out differently. From directors to aliens to ghosts, it's going to be quite the ride.
Would you want to see your life in another another dimension? I feel like I wouldn't want to see it. That would heavily depress me. Like, I don't want to see myself doing better than I am already, knowing that I could be doing better. Listen, I'm anxious enough as it is. Right? I put too much stress on myself as it is. I don't need to be looking at that and being like, Jesus. All right, overachiever. Jeez. Oh. Okay. So this is where you feel something slightly off here. Like, it goes off this whole parody of kind of BuzzFeed and the way they do their videos and stuff. It's done in that format of video, I guess, or like the web, questions that the web wants to know with all the celebrities and stuff. It's done in that style of format with the white background and stuff. And then obviously you see this bit at the end.
Okay. What are you gonna do to him?
And so, yeah, I guess that gets your interest spiked a little bit. We're going to jump into the second or first technical episode of this Project Earth, where we meet Greg Sellers, a very ordinary, average, boring man. They like ripping into this guy, that's for sure. Project Earth is a brand new show produced by Terra Nova Industries to demonstrate the technological advancements from the company itself. Our test subject, Greg Sellers, will see what other versions of himself are up to and what is his life. Where in his life this change took place. So not only do they say, oh, this is what you could have been, but they say, this is what you could have been if you did this, basically. So it's not just showing you like impossible realities, which that's kind of a, what's the word? Is that an oxymoron? Let's just jump into this. Project Earth. This one's 10 minutes long, guys. Like, this video might be a little bit long, so get cozy, okay? But it's very, very well worth it, I'll tell you. Who are you? Let me put the captions on, because there's always something in the captions of these things. Would you guys want to see other realities of yourself? I don't think I would want to.
I'm Greg.
Hi, I'm Greg.
Okay.
How's it going?
Just push this? Okay. Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous.
Meet
Right.
Greg Sellers, an ordinary, average, boring man.
I wouldn't say I'm boring. I work at the Midway Save & More in Rose Lake County. Okay, it's a little boring, but at least I enjoy it.
You don't enjoy it.
I have a lovely wife, Christine, and 2 kids, and you know what? That's pretty unboring if you ask me.
Just get on with it, Greg.
Our first test subject to enter the multiverse. But before we dive in, let's hear what kind of reality Greg wants us to find for him.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I always wanted to find a reality where I was a successful filmmaker. I've really been into making movies my whole life, and I just wanted to be like a Spielberg or a Good Will Hunting.
You mean Gus Van Sant?
Yeah, him. He's good. Like him, but Greggier. My dad was actually a huge movie buff. He was one of the first individuals to open up a video renting store in the late 70s. I was tasked with watching the tapes, making sure there was no problem, glitches
Brilliant.
and stuff. And as I watched these films, I began to garner an appreciation for how these pieces of imagery were put together. Ever since then, I wanted to be a filmmaker. In the early 80s and 90s, I wrote script upon script, trying to get my name out there, hoping some successful movie business producer man would come help get them funded. You know, if it worked for Tarantino, why not Gregorino?
That's awful.
Can we cut that out?
No.
Okay.
Greg, you
life
this
got
man is just living quiet desperation.
way. My father got sick in the early 90s, and most of my time and resources went to helping him in the business.
Damn.
I was already married to Christine at the time, and friends were getting married. Kids came not long after. It just became too much to balance. Life goes on, I guess, you know? But it's unfortunate the films never got made. I had to support my family, and Christine and the kids, they mean everything to me. They're my world.
It is. That is very sad that people have these dreams, but they put them on hold when certain things happen. I mean, I guess it is still your fault because well, sometimes it's not your fault, but if you get married early and have kids, then I guess it's kind of your fault because you went out looking for that and decided to have kids. Some people don't decide, they just, accidentally have kids, and then they fall into this trap of not really being able to do anything because all their attention is focused on the kids and the family. And it does become a life of quiet desperation where it's like, is this what I really want to be doing with my life?
I always wondered what if, you know? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. I'm excited to see what you guys do with the information. And a little scared too. I don't know if I want to press play.
Press play, Greg.
Okay.
After hours of exploring multiple pathways through Greg's decision-making, we found one reality where he did indeed become the filmmaker he always wanted to be.
Good Lord.
Sellers, the greatest director
So all of these little bubbles are different universes. That's pretty freaking cool.
is on another level.
Rose Lake County, California. I love his movie.
After examining more than 700,000 realities, we discovered a universe, to which we will call Earth 2.0, where
Is it really 2.0 if there's like infinite
Greg did in
universes?
fact hit the big time. From what we can gather, there was one day in Greg's life where a single decision changed his entire trajectory.
Isn't that crazy, guys? It's so crazy to think about. That one decision, no matter how minor or how major it is or it feels, changes the whole trajectory of your life. And I think to myself, is there a decision that I made back then that if I hadn't made that decision, I wouldn't be here now? Like the smallest of decisions. Like, for example, the whole reason I got into Five Nights at Freddy's was because my brother showed me Five Nights at Freddy's. What if I wasn't in on the day that he decided he wanted to show me that? I would have eventually found out about FNAF, but would I have been as interested as I was?
March
Who knows?
3rd, 1988.
And then would I have made a channel with Ryan? Would I have made my own channel from that?
Greg was working part-time at the local cinema and booked time off work to be the best man at his best friend's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
on that very night where his shift took place, the well-known producer from HBO, Simon Knight, came into town with his wife for the premiere of his latest film. Unfortunately, after a bizarre
Multiple injuries at Rose Lake Cineplex due to bizarre popcorn incident during movie premiere.
incident,
Popcorn incident.
Simon's life was saved by the individual who covered
Even Stacey Jones covering a shift for one of her co-workers that night.
Greg's shift. They became rather close friends after this encounter, leading to an unexpected, lifelong friendship.
Huh.
With our new technology, we found a reality where Greg actually turned down his close friend's offer to be the best man, and instead took his usual shift on that very
Oh, that's crazy.
night, where he would become the man to save Simon Knight from the dreaded popcorn incident.
Oh my gosh. I did that?
No, you didn't. The other Greg did.
Dang, I'm kind of an ass in this universe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they say sometimes in order to achieve greatness, you've got to step on a few heads, you know, or to just get to your goal, you've just got to completely pave through people. And obviously a lot of people aren't willing to do that, so then they won't reach their potential because they have a hat, you know.
Greg and Simon became incredibly close friends afterwards. Any activity you could think of, Greg and Simon were on their way to do it. Whenever Simon needed a shoulder to cry on, Greg was there. It wasn't too long before Simon discovered the scripts Greg was putting together. And then his first feature film was funded and released in
Murder
1991,
Stoppers.
making him an overnight success.
Hang on, look at this. Just when you thought you were about to get murdered, they stopped it. Look at that mustache.
Released in 1991, making him an overnight success.
Here's the trailer, an actual trailer of Greg Sellers' movie Murder Stoppers. See, this is what I like about this channel already, is that it goes deep. It goes super deep. And this definitely deserves a whole lot more attention, because you'll see later on this is such a unique concept. And with obviously, a lot of people will be like, oh, this is like Loki, the show Loki on Disney, you know, Marvel. And I guess it is kind of similar in the sense that it's a multiverse thing. But it's weird how no one's kind of thought to do this within their own kind of thing. I guess because when you introduce multiple universes, it can get super complicated.
Another 4 victims from these psychos just this morning.
Anything else I can get for you?
No thanks.
I sure wish someone would stop all the murderings around here.
2 detectives have had enough. So they're
I mean, they should have
taking
been trying to do that anyway, surely.
the law into their own hands.
Yeah, Carpenter.
Alone, they are simple cops.
Tonight, we aren't just cops. We're justice-ers.
Yeah, man.
But together, they are.
Listen, just because he was a movie producer doesn't necessarily mean he was a good movie producer.
Murder Stoppers.
Like the 80s vibe.
This is it. Stay frosty.
He's been killed by a murder.
Oh, God, no.
Just when you thought you were about to get murdered, they stopped it.
Stop murdering!
You found a trailer for it? So you can just pull stuff from there to over here?
Wow, that's crazy.
You think we could watch the whole movie? Probably. That's so cool.
Bro, I don't think anyone wants to watch that movie. Like, unironically.
Immediately, multiple producers were ready to fund Greg's next feature, which came out 4 years later in 1995 and was another smash hit.
Yeah, I mean, this has always been a dream of mine.
This is crazy.
And I want you to know that you can make it too. And the people who don't, they're just, lazy. No, it's simple, okay? I used to work a 9 to 5 just like everyone else. The people who use that excuse
Gone for the Robert Downey Jr. look.
just didn't try hard enough.
Oh, he's definitely on cocaine.
I don't know what I was expecting, but it's so surreal to see somebody who's the spitting image of me in an interview doing what I always wanted. I mean, it's me, but it's not me. It's like, what?
See how it's super well done?
He's a bit of an ass, though.
Yeah, for sure. This is what happens, man. When you go to Hollywood, especially.
Why do you say that?
Well, that 9-to-5 job, that was part-time.
Oof.
And he kind of leaves out the fact that he had to sacrifice an entire friendship just to get lucky.
I mean, director Greg Sellers is exposed.
But it wasn't all sunshine and
Oh
rainbows
God, what's he said now?
for Greg's
What's he
career.
done?
Because Greg chose not
The
to
dark
be the
side. Greg Sellers, the up-and-coming star, briefly.
best man
Okay.
at his friend's wedding, they were no longer on
Greg turned him down for some. Okay.
speaking terms, slowly drifting apart before eventually going to the press.
Oh, okay. So the friend went to the press to say, "Oh, the only reason he's famous is because he stopped,
Slandering
didn't want to be my
Greg's
best
name,
man."
claiming he was dishonest, only befriending people to get what he wanted.
Well, that makes sense. Tom and I had known each other for 10 years at that point. We were super close. So for me to do all that just for a shift at the cinema?
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that. Anyway,
that is mad.
As for Greg and Christine, they do still get married, but they only have one child and called it Grass.
What?
Christine filed for a divorce
Grass
a few
Sellers.
years later due to Greg not being home, and whenever he was under the influence and had a very short temper, along with confirmed reports of him cheating on.
Bro, is this like? No, I can't say that. I was gonna say a director's name, but think of a director in your head now, guys. Think of a director. There we go. Maybe we were thinking of the same director.
Okay,
Let me know in the comments which director you were thinking of when you thought of that.
His drug use only worsened while getting married a couple more times after Christine. His third movie, Bottoms Up, is released but completely tanks, becoming
Damn.
one of the biggest box office bombs of
Okay, does it really deserve the backlash it's been getting from critics around the world? Yes, it does. Pathetic, point and laugh, everybody.
all time.
Oh, look, Giga Chad. It's just a guy drinking for 3 hours. 5 stars.
Greg was sent to rehab in 2005.
That went south so fast!
Hey, listen, it's all good. There was that story about, listen, I'm going to tell a quick story, just a tiny quick story. There was a dude, the drummer of the Beatles, right? Not, what's his name? Freaking Ringo Starr. That was the drummer, right? I think. There was a drummer before then who was like, he was well put together. He had a girlfriend, he didn't go out partying and stuff. They got rid of him completely and replaced him in with Ringo Starr, right? And then he kind of went south. Obviously, he saw the success of the Beatles and was like, oh my God, that could have been me. This could have been me. But then he met, he was thinking about, certain things, unaliving himself, stuff like that. But then he met his wife and he had a family, and he said he wouldn't trade it because, he could have probably been like a mega superstar and all that, but he found something real. And he wouldn't change that for the world. Like, all of that happened for this reason. So I guess it's just your perspective on things,
Good run.
Greg moves back to his hometown.
Oh my God, it's Valma.
Finds a job at his old school in performing arts. This is where Greg lives to this day.
Rose Lake County.
He still speaks to his wife and kid.
That's interesting. That's the Terra Nova building complex. What was that?
He's trying to heal them.
Terra Nova. Well, that was extremely depressing. But maybe, like, he had the big time. But...
So, yeah. The movie industry is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
It's really easy to lose yourself. I always felt like if I
Greg's a very wholesome guy.
did make it, I'd probably screw it up somewhere, so I guess I was right. I think
Yeah, but hang on. Remember that in that universe, there's other decisions that could have been made where you are the best director and you make all the best films. Remember?
people would too if they surround themselves with the wrong people. I mean, my life's not the best. There's plenty I wish was better, but having the ability to find myself and be surrounded by good friends, I'll take that any day over
There we
what the
go.
hell it was I just watched.
Nice take.
Hey, Thanks for liking and subscribing to the channel. If you'd like to see me in more realities, drop into the comments below and leave us some ideas.
This is such a unique concept for a channel. It's really, really good. And do what they said, guys. Like and I am subscribed, as you can see here, but obviously I loaded these up before I subscribed. All right, here we go. We're going to move on to the second one now, where the dude, the friend who wedding he turned down in the last video is actually being interviewed with him. Here we go. So this is Project Earth 2. Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Is that working?
Yeah, think so.
Hi, I'm Greg Sellers. I have a normal life, and we're going to use the multiverse to see what I could have become. That sounds so depressing.
Yeah.
Well, no matter how good your life is now, they'll show you something where it's a million times better. It's just being comfortable with what you have now and being grateful.
Oh, today I brought my friend Tom.
Hi.
Hey, Tom.
Tom and I have been best friends since high school. I was even the best man at his wedding.
I can confirm. I was there.
If you could see any version of yourself in the multiverse, what would you want to see?
A prominent news anchor.
What?
I'm not kidding, dude. That's what I always wanted
I know,
to...
but you could see anything, endless possibilities, and you just want to see how you would present the news?
Yeah. They have awesome hair. Mine sucks. Never does anything that I want it to do.
That does look pretty
Theirs,
bad, to be
always
fair.
perfect.
So you want a news universe just to see what hairstyle you would have?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Nothing, Tom.
Hey, man, this guy's a simple man, you know? Sometimes I think being a simple creature is often the best way to live life. Too much choice is
Greg Sellers,
horrible.
An ordinary, average, boring man. But what if we were to change that and show him what his life could have been like had certain events gone differently?
I like this guy.
You like him? Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's a little forward.
Ooh, I'm Greg. Greg sucks.
Yeah.
Boring, ordinary.
I'm so glad I brought you here.
In the last episode, we discovered what could have happened if Greg had pursued his dream of becoming a filmmaker. He got this inspiration from his father.
My dad was actually a huge movie buff. He was one of the first individuals to open up a video renting store in the late 70s.
But what if his father never existed?
Oh, Jesus.
Ominous. You are going to become a news anchor. I can feel it.
Yeah, right.
Or more specifically, what if Greg never met his dad?
Oh.
What if his father passed away at a young age? In this universe that we shall refer to as Earth 3.0, Greg's father was killed in a car accident a month before he was born.
Jeez.
His dream of becoming a filmmaker never happened. In fact,
Oh, that's
he
mad.
now had a new person to look up to. His mother. Lydia Sellers was much more into law and politics.
Interesting.
Greg followed suit pretty quickly. He became more outspoken on topics at school, always wanting to be the leader in group projects, before being elected as his class president.
Oh, no, not
Interesting.
political.
What's wrong with that? You're becoming me. That's incredible. Congratulations.
He's very political.
Usually wanders about somewhere when I'm having one of my awesome political discussions with him.
I don't know, man. I think friends should probably not talk that much about politics, to be fair.
It makes my head hurt. I have to get away, so, you know. But I don't mean to offend you. I just, you do you. If you like politics, go for it. I just can't.
In order to make his father proud, he works extra hard and becomes a kid wonder, joining university at just 14. During the 80s, he began fighting for the rights of people in his town, eventually being elected as mayor of Rose Lake,
At 20
turning
years
the city
old.
from a forgotten wasteland into a well-known tourist destination. He grew a dedicated audience over the next decade, followers who believed Greg could be the man to change the world for the better. A true icon to behold.
Damn, I'm becoming a leader. Wait, no. Don't tell me I become.
What do you think you're gonna be?
I'm not gonna say it, but I'm really excited.
Is he gonna become a news anchor?
Freaking Tucker Carlson over here.
Due to Greg being loved by so many in the world, in 1991 they dropped the age limit for presidency, and Greg Sellers became the 42nd president of the United States of America.
Wow.
There he goes. He's going for a little walk, I see.
Is this happening? Is this for real?
This is legit.
This is legit! I am the president!
Congratulations, man.
Do you reckon that in any kind of universe? Well, I guess in some multiverse, everyone's gone political at some point, and everyone probably becomes president at some point, right? And prime minister or king. Well, not necessarily king. Maybe. I don't know. Something goes wrong in the bloodline, timeline. I don't know.
What?
What?
Yeah, that's why we brought you here.
Who let idiots like us be in charge?
I don't know, but I'll take it, man! USA! USA!
USA!
USA! USA!
USA! Can we cut that out?
Oh, jeez. It was very Conan O'Brien there.
In a landslide victory against George H.W. Bush, Greg Sellers enters the White House with Vice President Thomas Wilson. His first action within the White House? Legalizing marijuana.
My goodness.
Nice.
Rather than spending the money on war and the military, he instead invests in space programs and energy-efficient public transportation around
I understand why they spend money on like the army and stuff, like defense, but I feel like they spend a little bit too much on defense. You know, it's good to stay protected and, you know, defend against any foreign invasions or whatever. But I feel like we spend America in general spend way too much money on defense. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just a hippie me coming out. But they could easily invest that in their own community, in their country, in their people, their countrymen, their countrywomen.
United States, eliminating the need for fossil fuels. He saves publicly funded art programs and makes college free and healthcare free, essentially turning America into a utopia.
There we go.
He becomes the first cool president. Greg was captured on a talk show playing an insane guitar solo and performing his own version of Hail to the Chief.
Hail to the Chief. Yeah.
He often does his speeches without his shirt on. His explanation? I'm the first politician with nothing to hide.
Brilliant, except, you know, you've still got pants on technically, so take them off, you know, that's what I'm saying.
This is amazing. Can we go there?
Greg and Thomas also make the biggest discovery of all. Aliens exist.
Oh, jeez.
It was officially announced to the public when Vice President Wilson came on national television admitting to falling in love with one of them.
Wow.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Good evening, my fellow Americans.
What? What's with the
Recently, a lot
accent?
of nasty rumors about me in the press, and I would like to put those rumors to bed once and for all. So let me be perfectly clear. I did indeed have sexual relations with an extraterrestrial from the Zeta Reticuli star system. We are deeply in love. Personally, I cannot wait to get back to that intergalactic bedroom rodeo.
The wedding aired on TV with President Sellers as the best man.
Oh, now he's
It
the best
became
man.
The biggest broadcast of all time. They were the first to have a space baby and called it Zorak.
Wow, okay.
President Sellers and Vice President Wilson brought peace not only among Earth, but the entire galaxy.
I like that transition. Oh, my freaking battery just died. Hang on. Boop. Ow. That's mad.
Oh, wow. I thought the biggest thing I would do was maybe become a lawyer, not the frickin' president of the United States of America.
I mean, if there's a possibility of it happening, it probably has happened somewhere, right?
Aliens are real?
Aliens are real. I married one.
You married one. Wow. Yes. Wow. I mean, that's a lot to process. But that's me. I am staring at myself as the president of the United States of America. And my best friend, Tom Wilson, married an alien.
That's incredible.
Hey.
Why did you say Greg Run? Greg Run. What the hell?
Hey. Thanks for liking and subscribing to the
Okay.
channel. If you'd like to see me in more realities, drop into the comments below and leave us some ideas.
Nice.
Nice. Okay, guys, so this is where it gets This is where, like, so far it just feels like it's a parody, right? It's like, oh, this is a bit fun. But now this is where it gets... You feel something is in the background happening. There's more to it than meets the eye. So this next video is called Project Earth 3 on the Other Side and features Christina, Greg's wife.
Well, here we be.
Here we be.
This is my wife, Chrissy.
Hi.
So, did you watch the videos?
No.
No, you said you had.
Well, I felt a little bad, so
Why is that
I just
hair?
said that I did, but I didn't.
Okay, well, what do you know about the multiverse?
Multiverse. That's that infinite possibilities
All right, let me
thing
turn
where
the-
it could be anything. Wait. Could there be a world where we are cartoons? Right? Could that be a thing?
Yeah, but we haven't found one like that yet.
Well, I mean, you could have it
That
so...
right there. I'd watch it if it had that.
Well, last time
I mean, there's a possibility where an animation is made of you.
I was the president.
Ooh.
Okay, well, a lot of people think I'm pretty famous.
Well, here we go, hitting us with that freaking Kevin McLeod.
Meet Greg Sellers, an ordinary, average, boring man.
Okay, yeah. So straight away you can see something's wrong. Okay, the episode cuts off, but the captions of the episode technically are still going. What if we looked into reality with his wife, Christine? Well, in our universe...
Christine was a firm believer in ghosts, but Greg would never join on her endeavors.
Believe me, it was not for lack of trying.
Oh, I don't like it. You're stuck in a house talking to yourself all night.
He's not
Talking
wrong.
to yourself.
And those ghost shows really like hype up the littlest things, and they like use all these sting effects and oh my god, a white orb flew past the door, turning into freaking Randy Savage.
Why are you looking at me like that? Do none of you talk to yourself? Am I alone in this? Can we cut that out?
In this reality, Greg joined
Dude looks like Matthew Lillard here a little bit when he was younger.
one of Christine's ghost adventures and found undeniable evidence that ghosts exist.
No, don't tell her.
All this time. All this
So
time.
does that mean that if ghosts exist in one universe, that they exist in another universe?
If only you'd come on one of my little adventures, then we would have found undeniable proof that ghosts were real.
Well, we discovered aliens exist in the last one, so I could have made a lot of better choices.
What? Aliens?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you tell me?
It's government secret.
Due to his experience with scripting and filmmaking, he rented a camera and put together a low-budget TV show to prove the existence of ghosts. It
Damn.
then aired on a local station in 1989.
Do we really know what goes bump in the night?
For years, this question has been asked.
What is this?
And today we're going to find out.
With undeniable proof that there is an afterlife.
Join us on our show!
I like those effects. That's very cool.
The show was an overnight success, despite many critics appearing in the newspapers. So Greg began hosting events for everyone to see for themselves. It was at this point Christine and him became known as the first individuals to undeniably prove there was an afterlife.
Undeniable. You hear that, Greg? Undeniable.
I heard. No, I was there.
I'm glad you were.
The first season of their ghost hunting show premiered in 1991.
They've captured that kind of really cringy, BuzzFeed-esque kind of, humor. Not all of the BuzzFeed stuff is cringy, so to speak. Just a lot of it is.
Breaking viewing figures across the world.
Ghosts, if you're out there, give us a sign. Back off. Did you hear that? I think it said hello.
Yeah. Whoa. Okay, this is where it gets weird. As you can see, let's just go through. There's someone inside this, like if someone's inside the TV trying to get out almost. And the captions still carry on as if the video is still continuing. And then we have this kind of weird music of zooms showing statues holding up an egg. And I don't know if it's a play on the whole what came first, the rooster or the egg, or the chicken or the egg, whatever. There's something okay, hang on, go back. Okay, here we go. Press F11 for okay, memory test. Okay, so it's like a computer. This is like the startup of a computer. Wait. Look at this, look. So this is going to come in, this will, because I did a little bit of digging on the website beforehand. And what you see here is going to be interesting later on. Because they're saying, is the episode still going? So in the actual episode where they're filming, they're wondering if it's still going. I feel like I'm here, but not. Greg, are you okay? I don't think they can see us anymore.
Unfortunately, it was.
So that
wasn't long before
something is going weird in the background here, and I need to just go back because there was more of stuff there. Okay, there's what Greg is a freaking astronaut. And what's interesting about that is that if you actually reverse the video, I learned this from watching Inside of Mind's video. I believe there's a narrator that says something like the multiverse is like falling apart or something of that similar of that nature.
The multiverse is collapsing.
Unfortunately, it wasn't long before people figured out how Greg was summoning these spirits. And by the mid-90s, there were well over 100 different TV shows saturating the market with ghosts.
Okay.
Dramas, talk shows, anything you could think of, it had a ghost in it now. Greg's ghost hunting show was eventually cancelled as the idea of ghosts is just no longer surprising.
That's a shame.
How do you even get sick of ghosts?
Right?
It wasn't until the early 2000s where a scientific paper was written suggesting these creatures may not have actually been.
Here we go. The findings of Sellers and White have led to the conclusion that ghosts may be humans from other realities that are somehow crossing into our reality. I've got to say, I always thought that maybe that's what it was. The things we see as ghosts are just two universes colliding with each other and overlapping almost. You know, when you take a photo, like I had one of these cameras where they would take a photo and it would have too much film, I guess, or it would basically override one photo with another photo. And so they would blend the two photos together and you could see two images in one. I think that's basically what ghosts are. The researchers suggest that the multiverse may be collapsing in on itself, and that the summoning of these ghosts may be a sign of this collapse. The findings of Sellers and White have led to the conclusion that ghosts may be humans from other realities that are somehow crossing into our reality. This raises concerns about the potential impact on the multiverse, as summoning these ghosts could be creating cracks in the fabric of reality. The researchers suggest that the multiverse may be collapsing in on itself, and that the summoning of these ghosts may be a sign of this collapse. To support those claims, hang on. This is just saying the same thing, but differently. To support these claims, we develop a theoretical framework using the following equations.
Ghosts.
The implication of these finds is significant. If ghosts are indeed people from other realities, it raises questions about the stability of the multiverse and the potential consequences of actions that could lead to the collapse of reality as we know it. It is important that further investigation is conducted into the the nature of ghosts and the impact of their presence in the multiverse. In conclusion, the research conducted by Sellers and White has provided compelling evidence that ghosts may not be supernatural entities, but rather people from other realities. This raises concerns about the potential impact on the multiverse and highlights the need for further investigation into the nature of ghosts and their potential consequences on the stability of reality as we know it.
Other realities seeping into theirs, warning everyone that the multiverse may be collapsing in on itself.
Oh, I think that I heard about this. actually a popular theory that instead of it being dead people who are passing into our world, it's different realities passing through ours.
Whoa.
Pretty cool.
I've never heard of that. That's good.
Yeah. The multiverse, though. I didn't hear about that falling apart.
What? You will. Maybe them, whatever's happening, whatever kind of experiments they're doing, whatever this ICE thing actually is, and, you know, this Terra Nova Industries are doing, it's actually them looking into different realities is the reason why the multiverse is collapsing in on itself, and they're unaware of it, unless they are aware of it and they're doing it for that specific reason so that this can happen. But why would they want to do that? In all of these videos, there is a link to the website that we're going to check out now. Whenever it comes to an ARG, the best thing you can do is do this, Control A, and as you can see straight away, there's hidden things here. So on this one, it shows the home. There's going to be 3 new episodes, which is pretty cool. The next one's going to be in August. Not a bad place they got here. Project Earth, I like it. What a lovely review. My family are probably alive too. I feel your pain, Gary. I met a guy on my doorstep at midnight once. I thought we were friends. Turns out he just needed someone to help bury his laundry that was in the trunk of his car. I know what that means. No one wants to be friends with someone who doesn't think to wash them first. So whoever this person is that's writing on this website, who has found this website, is very childlike for sure, and very innocent, and doesn't really think of anything sinister going on in the background. So let's go to the About page. Industry leaders in technology and innovation. We want to make the world a better place. We want to be the leading provider to take humanity to the next step of evolution. Project Earth and multiple groundbreaking products demonstrate that, and we're not stopping anytime soon. We are continuing our mission and to hire the greatest minds this world has ever seen. In the beginning, in 1970, a young man by the name of Arthur Exton began his journey to try and make the world a better place. Between the 70s and 80s, Mr. Exton had brought some exceptional products into the world. Unfortunately, the world didn't see his genius for what it was until the 90s, when he figured out the ability to create products we thought wouldn't be possible for another 50 years. Now his son, Harold Exton, has taken charge of the company after his passing in 2003. Harold has continued his father's legacy and is managing to take the company to bigger sites than it has ever been before in its history, shaping the world with a little bit of extra Exton. I never saw his face. The boss man. Rose Lake looks so pretty. I hope to visit it someday. It's probably super peaceful, minus the big corporation building in the downtown area. This was from one of the videos that we watched. I think it was the one with the presidency. Like, this is where he lived, apparently, in Rose Lake County. So there's something going on here, for sure. And now the blog. This is where, like, most of the meat is, I guess. So we'll have a look at some of this. So this was the first project here, a new Project Earth. I don't think there's anything in Control A here. Harold Exton, the CEO of Terra Nova Industries, sits down with me today to discuss the web series he's been putting together called Project Earth, which is expected to premiere its first episode in February of this year. So what can you tell us about this new project? Well, we're using this series to demonstrate our groundbreaking discovery of the multiverse. For the past few months, we set out a search to find the most boring man you could ever think of, and lo and behold, he was right here in our very own Rose Lake County. Greg Sellers. He has a typical 9-to-5 job and has failed at almost everything in life. Well, except for getting married, and of course, if you'd even class that as a success, not exactly a hard thing to do. I've done it 5 times. These are photos of Greg. There he is, look. There's our boy Greg. Isn't he just a wholesome man? Look at this guy. Sounds exciting. How are you going to demonstrate this with Greg? We're going to use our technology to scour through different realities of Greg Sellers and find some more exciting versions of him. The TV-looking device you'll see in Project Earth is called the Intellectual Creativity Engine, ICE for short, which allows us to view these other realities. That's also important for the comics that we're going to look. Wow. We'll have a little look at them, but I highly suggest you look at them yourself. As you can see, I think that's an eyeball there. Looks like kind of like an eyeball. Interesting, but why does it look like an old TV? The device has been around for quite a long time. I want to say 25 to 30 years, but we've only perfected it recently. We haven't had a chance to update its exterior. How does this technology work? Can we use it to physically travel there? No, well, not yet. Currently, we can generate small objects from other realities like newspapers, paintbrushes, jars of dirt, etc. But anything living is yet to make it to the other side or vice versa alive. So that to me suggests that they've been trying to send people through the multiverse and they didn't survive it, which is messed up. Same with food and plants. They come through completely rotted to the core, but we're getting there. I can reveal we're in the midst of numerous experiments that could lead us to successfully sending a human being to one of these worlds in the next year or so. I would hate to be a test subject for something like that. So how many episodes are they going to be? We plan on 6 episodes in total. We think that's a nice and comfortable number to land on. It'll be like one of those old British shows, Mr. Ben or something. You mean Mr. Bean? I don't know, probably. Is it just going to be a one-off season, or do you plan to make more? Harold, the original idea... Well, hang on. Wasn't Mr. Bean had multiple episodes in it? Like, loads of episodes. What do you mean 6? The original idea would be just to have one season and see what people think, but there's always room for a second if it does well. This is all rather expensive, so we're unsure. Would you be satisfied if only one season was made? Oh, absolutely. Even if no one watches, I'm proud of this. But I'll fire everyone involved if it doesn't. That's just the way it is sometimes. Look at that Greg. Look at Greg. Look at that face. Meet Greg and Christine Sellers. Time draws close to the ever so anticipated series Project Earth, produced by our beloved CEO Harold Egston. The show will feature Greg Sellers, a man who has lived in Rose Lake County, California all of his life, but he's about to get the surprise of a lifetime when we show him all the lives that he could have lived if he had made different choices. We take a seat with our boring hero along with his wife Christine Sellers. Gee, they're really ripping into Harold. I mean, Greg. Are you really as boring as the trailer suggests? I mean, my job isn't anything great, but you know, it pays the bills. They might be hamming up the boring part. I wouldn't call seeing a fully stocked salsa shelf dull, would you? His life is very boring. I've been watching it for all of mine. Jeez, wow. How did Terra Nova Industries find you? I saw a commercial online looking for participants to volunteer in a social experiment for an upcoming show made by Terra Nova. I'm a big fan of their products and thought it would be really cool, so I filled out the form and they called me back instantly. Instantly! They took one look at this man and said, this is it. This is the most boring man I've ever seen. I don't even need to know what he does. This man is boring. He wouldn't stop talking about it after he got picked. You should see him now. He can't walk past a stranger without letting them know he's in a show. It's so cute. Oh, that is cute. Hey man, Greg he's a wholesome dude. She's been incredibly supportive. So have all the episodes been filmed? Only 3 so far. We're going to film the final few in a couple of weeks. I'm incredibly excited. That seems like a long gap between filming. Yeah, but before we can film the next lot, they wanted to run a few tests on me. They've explained what they're for, but it's just a bit too sciencey to follow. Oh god, are they gonna... Is Greg the person they're gonna try and send into the freaking multiverse? Any chance you can try and give it a go? Well, they've taken some blood samples. I think it's to help find other versions of me faster. I'm not quite sure. They did it before we filmed the first episode too, so that might be it. Maybe they're making clones of Greg, and then they're just gonna keep cloning Greg until they succeed at sending a person through the multiverse. Have you seen any of the final cuts? Oh yeah, I was sending them to Christine, but it wasn't until I brought her on set that I found out she hadn't watched any of them. I knew you were gonna bring that up. I just kept getting distracted, and when he asked me about it, I felt really bad and lied. You got exposed. I did, right in front of all the crew. Maybe they all forgot. Which episode is your favourite? I enjoy all of them for different reasons, but I guess if I had to pick one, it's got to be the first one. That one hit me the hardest, as that's probably the most personal. The third one I enjoyed for no reason at all. Christine winks and whispers, I'm being sarcastic. Well, anything you'd like to say to the viewers before we let you go? Buckle up, don't forget to share it with your friends if you like it. I already want a second season. I just hope he still remembers me when he's famous. He keeps joking about what colour Lamborghini he's going to buy. It's a Bugatti. It's a Bugatti. What colour did Bugatti go? So we obviously know all about these, but it seems like in each of these posts there's a little nugget of information that we don't know about. For example, in that last one, they did some science tests on him and took his blood and stuff, which is crazy to think about why they would do that. How did you find the first episode, Tom? It needed more murder stoppers. I mean, who wants to see this guy on TV? He gestures towards Greg. Blah, with a capital B, am I right? Tom is such a good friend, isn't he? I used to watch stuff like that all the time growing up. You know, the classics. I am not exaggerating when I say I would sell a testicle to see a longer version of Murder Stoppers. Don't say that. They'll take that and they'll take your testicle, I reckon. This company will take your testicles. But how did you feel about Greg's choice? Just that out of context. Just that sentence that I said just then, out of context. How do you feel about Greg's choice? Your wedding is what separates Greg from being what he always wanted to be. Are you saying it's like my fault? I don't think that's the only chance I would have had. I mean, it's the multiverse. There's infinite possibilities, right? Surely that wouldn't have been the only chance I had at getting an opportunity like that. Sorry, I didn't mean to create any tension between you two. I just think it's an interesting perspective to look at. Honestly, I think it's something we can all laugh about when we're older. I think so. It's crazy seeing the what ifs and to think I could have lost a very close friend over a cinema shift. It just is... And to think I could have lost a very close friend over cinema shifts, it's just awful to think about. We had to cut this interview short, sadly. Greg appeared to be feeling under the weather towards the end. We wish him a speedy recovery. Okay, they're doing something to Greg. They did more than a blood test, that's for sure. They're putting something into Greg. Okay, so the first part, it just seems to be Tom and Christine, so Greg's best friend and Greg's wife, talking to each other. Talking about the news anchors and their hair and stuff. And here we go. Tom asks a question. I wanted to ask you something about these aliens. Sure. Will we ever get a chance to go to these universes? Like, is there a chance I could meet my other self and alien wife? No reason, just asking, you know, just for fun. What's this? Vlognab and Vice President Thomas Wilson. As far as I'm aware, we are currently running experiments in hopes of one day having humans travel to these realities. Wait, so what happens when that's figured out? Wouldn't that like solve world hunger and stuff? Infinite possibilities and infinite food? I didn't really think of that. It didn't really cross my mind. Mate, why would they do that? There's no financial profit in that. The people running this place are just the same as any other conglomerate. It's just a bunch of rich dudes who can afford food for their families and don't even think twice about the little guy. Unless it's keeping them down. Oh Lord, Tom, you're getting political again. Oh yeah, of course we know. Tom's a political guy. They're setting this up nicely. It's not political if it's the truth, and today's truth special is buy one, get one free. I say, this is rather uncalled for, Mr. Wilson. I can assure you this company does the very best. Where is our freedom, huh? Freedom? Where is our financial stability? Unfortunately, we had to cut the interview short and escort Thomas Wilson and Christine Sellers off the premises. They will not be returning for future interviews, but I'm sure once we have Greg awake and healthy, he can give us more detailed insights on future... What? Greg's like freaking in a coma right now? That went from 0 to 100 super quick. Okay, so freaking Greg's in some kind of medical coma right now. Gasp, a blog. If only I knew how to read. I want to know who this guy is. Who is this dude? Okay, this is the one that I'm interested in. The raining cow incident. Is there any like hidden stuff here? Here we go. The Raining Cow Incident by Maggie Jones. Terra Nova Industries would like to formally address recent theories circulating online about their involvement in the event that took place in the early hours of Norwich, England on April 1st. For those who may not be aware, a resident of the village, Bethany Flood, reported being awoken by a loud crash in her home at 4:29 AM. Shortly after, several more thuds and crashes were heard. Upon investigating, she was shocked to witness hundreds of cattle falling from the sky, seemingly alive before they hit the ground. Witnesses in the surrounding area also reported hearing screams and noises from the animals as they fell, leaving the entire village in ruin. Imagine frickin' seeing cows falling from the sky. It's been estimated that over 7,000 cows fell from the sky, causing well over $1 million in damages to the village. Despite an extensive investigation, no one has yet been able to determine where the cows came from or how they fell from the sky. One farmer who witnessed the event claimed to have seen several cattle appear out of thin air before dropping from a height of about 200 feet. Terra Nova Industries strongly denounces any claims or theories linking us to the bizarre incident that occurred in Norwich, United Kingdom on April 1st. We want to clarify that Terra Nova Industries does not have any locations or employees working in the United Kingdom, and thus we have no involvement whatsoever in the Raining Cow incident. We understand the shock and confusion that this event has caused, but we urge the public and the media to refrain from spreading baseless accusations and misinformation. As a responsible and reputable company, Terra Nova Industries remains committed to upholding the highest ethical and environmental standards in all our operations. Terra Nova Industries has no further statement on this situation at this time, and requested comment will be denied. That's their response. We hope that this statement serves to address any misconceptions and assure the public of our continued commitment to the well-being of communities around the world. Oh, look at this. There's an exclusive live stream on June 20th. Exciting news awaits. On June 20th, Terra Nova Industries is set to host an archived broadcast of a radio show originating from an alternate reality. This marks a historic milestone as it presents an opportunity for the world to listen to a radio station from another universe. Unfortunately, our current technology has not yet perfected the ability to receive live radio signals from other worlds. Nonetheless, this broadcast still provides a unique window into the discussion taking place in other versions of Earth. The program in question is Eagles Radio's The Patriot Hour with John O'Malley, a conspiracy broadcast that promises to be a delightful indulgence for all. The hour-long content will be replayed immediately after its conclusion. This will repeat for 24 hours before transmission ends. We invite you to seize this rare opportunity and tune in at your convenience during the day. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to sharing this extraordinary experience with you. So that you can't see it live, but you can pick out media stuff and then bring it into this world. Okay, so this is Barry. This is the dude that's created it with a typewriter, which will also make sense in the comic. If we press Control A, look. If you want to get notified for new uploads, and this is the place to go. Okay, I say you subscribe, guys. If you want, I've definitely subscribed because they actually send parts of lore, I guess you could say, through the email. I think the last video they sent through, there's like a hidden message in the email. So if you want to keep tracks of this ARG, then go ahead. So before we get into the comic, let's read this. This is a secret page, unrelated to everything else. No one can see it but you. Congratulations. Come on, don't be shy. Celebrate a little. Okay, that's enough. Before continuing, I must warn you, what you're about to read is a tragic tale that of a man locked away, trapped in a room with no windows, no doors, nothing, forced to write the same story every 24 hours. His name is Barry. Enjoy his misery. Have a great day. What, expecting a secret message in binary like this? The quick brown fox jumps over 13 lazy dogs. I won't lie, it's always fun to find a hidden message on a code, but I'm not very good at codes. There are some ARG elements planned though. Hopefully you'll find them when they're released. So I do apologize for anyone expecting some code breaking stuff. I do hope you'll still enjoy the story and figure out the mystery. Starting to get a sense of unease in this place. Be careful, everyone. So there are 3 issues currently of Locked Below, and this is a comic that was made by Barry. Barry being this guy here, and Barry being the dude in charge of this whole thing. This is the channel of Barry. Barry likes to tell stories. They hope you enjoy. But we'll have a quick look through it. So basically, the story of this. So the first story starts off with a villain called, what was his name again? Devious. A villain called Devious on horseback with a princess on his back. Kind of like Ganondorf, I guess, from Ocarina of Time. He just snatched this princess, as we'll find out later on. And then I think this guy's called Henry Humble or something like that. So he catches up with Devious, throws his sword, cuts off Devious's head, and then they basically fall in love and they get married. The end. Then it goes into Barry's office. Is it Barry or Derry? Did I call him Derry before? And as we know, this is a 24-hour clock, so he's writing the same story over and over again. So he writes another story, and you think, okay, it's going to be the same thing, but basically it's the same story, but told from like a little bit before. So the princess comes out to say hello to the people. She gets captured by Devious, charges away. Henry Humble comes along and saves the day. This just goes on and on. He's writing the same story. And then at the end of this comic, he gets a phone call from an unknown source, from calling him Little Puppy or something like that. Then on issue 2, we basically, the person on the phone says that he's actually wrote 10,000 stories at this moment. And in order to reward him, like because he's worked so hard, they reward him with a coffee that just gets materialized out of nowhere, basically. As you can see here, this is where the ICE machine comes in. So Barry actually writes the stories, and as he writes them, he can see what he's writing. So I don't really understand why he's writing the same story over and over again, but it'll kind of make sense, I guess, towards the end when things get a little bit weird, and it will correlate back to that episode 3 of Project Earth. So there he goes. He's writing the same story over and over again. He's playing with a bouncy ball here. He throws the ball, it hits the coffee mug, and it goes all over his typewriter, which is going to affect the whole machine, basically. Now, at this point, the story starts writing itself without him realizing. So here we go. It's a different story this time, and this is from before the whole princess going out to say hello to the people. This is her maid comes in saying that there's a festival going on. And this is the first panel, I guess you could say, where something weird starts beginning. So at the very start, she's saying that she's stressing out about this event and that she's had a dream and it felt super real. And the dream turned out to be what's happening here. Now, Barry in the office is confused whether or not he actually just wrote what was written and decides he's going to get some sleep. And then it starts again. It starts from it's like Groundhog Day, basically. The princess wakes back up, and now I definitely recommend you guys go and read this for yourself. I read it myself. It's fantastic. I'm just giving you the footnotes. If you want to read this for yourself without any spoilers, go ahead. I highly recommend it. In this one, she knows for sure that it's not just deja vu, it's not just a dream, that this has actually happened before. She gets captured again, but this time I think the maid tells her, oh, if you know something's going to happen, why not try and change an outcome, basically. So in this one, as she gets captured, she pulls out the capture's knife and stabs it in his back. And at this point, Barry's like, what the hell is going on? I'm not in charge of any of this. The story is basically writing itself. These characters are becoming sentient. And later on, you find basically these guys are at a standoff. Obviously, she still doesn't know who this devious person is. But then in the next issue, we kind of come to this conclusion that as long as Devious doesn't die and they don't go off and get married, they're going to stay, they're not going to reset. The timeline isn't going to reset. And they actually become sentient and aware of themselves. And this is where it gets super, super interesting. So you realize, you recognize that Barry is actually working for Terra Nova Industries. I'm not sure what the purpose of writing the same story over and over again does. I'm not sure why that's a thing, but they use the same TV, the same ICE machine as the videos we saw before. So technically that thing can see different universes. Maybe this is the start of what made the multiverse begin to crumble. Basically, Barry gets given this light bulb that can screw into the side of the typewriter, and then they can look at the character they want to control and start typing and controlling this. You see in the comic that Henry starts to not be himself, like he was completely aware of himself and sentient, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we should go get married, basically. Everything's completely fine. And that they're not in control of their movements. And they're aware of this. They're speaking these words that they don't mean, and they're moving without meaning to. But the one thing that they try and do is because they're not controlling this Devious character here, they get Devious to try and launch, try and kill Henry here, and basically it stops. And the end of this issue, this dude writes in a rock to smash Devious on the head. And he only wanted to knock him out, but he ended up killing him. And then these two are still kind of like wondering what the hell's going on. And then a phone dropped from the sky. And on this phone, they can talk to Barry. So now Barry is interacting with these characters that he made up, and now they've become sentient, and it's going to become weird. I'm not sure what's happening with this, but it is super, super cool. I really enjoy the thought of it. I'm sorry for explaining it like I explained that like such a toddler. I apologize. I knew the key parts of each thing, but like I said, I think you should really go check this out for yourself. It's super fun, and I'm looking forward because I think this directly correlates to what's going on in the other world, the actual, the real world with the multiverse and stuff. But yeah, that is basically it for now, guys, I believe, for Terra Nova. If you find any secrets, or if you think I've missed something, then be sure to let me know and comment them down below. But you guys should definitely keep an eye on this. There's a lot of stuff going on at the minute with ARGs. We've got the Welcome Home one, we've got this now, Terra Nova Industries, and we've got obviously Happy Meat Farms as well. Some fantastic ARGs out there. I highly recommend you subscribe to the email, because they're going to be emailing out like things that won't be shown publicly, if you know what I mean. I'm so bad at describing things. I'm so bad at... I feel like such a child when I'm trying to explain something. You know, when a child's trying to tell a story, then they just start telling bits that just make no sense or isn't important to the plot or whatever. But I hope you guys did enjoy, and I hope you guys go check out the comic for yourself and the website for yourself. All the videos, go like, show your support. It's fantastic. You can go follow Berry on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Discord. They're all down here. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you did enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.